Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making gumbo collard greens for Thanksgiving dinner. If you've never had gumbo style collard greens, you are absolutely missing out. It's mixing the best seafood sausage gumbo you can think of with a traditional collard green with smoked turkey recipe, and it's so flavorful. I promise you're never gonna go back to how you usually eat collard greens. Now this is personally my favorite way to eat them, but do as you please. Let's get into it. So first we're going to start off by cleaning our collard greens. You could use kale greens, you could use mustard, you could use turnip, but in this video I'm just going to be showing you how I personally clean my collard greens. So keep in mind that collard greens grow in the ground, whether you get them in the bag, pre-cut, pre-washed, or on the bushel like I got them. And what I do is run my finger down the stem and it seamlessly rips off the leaves. Of course, you can use scissors, you can use a knife to run it along the stem and remove the leaf. But like I said, I turn it upside down and run my finger down the stem and it comes off seamlessly. I don't like using stems, so definitely take them stems out because it's not pleasant to eat. Then I'm gonna fill up my clean sink. My sink is clean, okay? If you don't want to clean it in the sink, how you gonna clean the collard greens, I don't know. And I run some warm water and begin the first wash. So this wash initially is just to give it a good rinse, just to get all that dirt, see if there's any bugs in the collard greens, because I've had collard greens before that have had bugs, even the ones that come in the bag. Like I said, they come in the ground. After I drain that water, I fill the sink back up with some water and add in some white vinegar, and I also go in with some kosher salt. You could be generous with this because, like I said, greens are super gritty, dirty, sandy, whatever you want to call them. And we're just going to mix all this together with our hands. I also have clean hands, by the way. And like I said, it's in room temperature, warm water, not hot water, not cold water. And we're just going to mix all that around and repeat that process until the water runs clear and your greens are squeaky clean. So like you can see, I am satisfied with this product. And I'm about ready to start cutting up the greens, which is going to totally be up to your preference. I know people prefer them in stringy type of strands or whatever. Me personally, I like it in the middle where it's like a strand that's like the width of my finger, because remember, the greens are going to shrink a little bit as we cook them. But as you can see, I'm just taking the greens and layering them on top of each other, green side up, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna roll it up like this. As you can see, I'm tucking and rolling, and I'm about to prepare to cut. So I just cut, like I said, the width of my finger, and I also try to cut it down the middle too, because I don't want it to be like a super big piece of greens in my mouth. And then I'm cutting it like the width of my index finger. So this is going to be up to your preference. I've cooked a lot of greens in my life, so I kind of know the width that I want them to be. I kind of know the size I want them to be, but feel free to cut them into shreds, cut them into squares. Mine looks something like that. So now we're going to continue to do the rest of them. And yeah, you can enjoy the music while we do that. So now we're going to start preparing our meat. I like to use Conaca hickory smoked sausage. Of course, you can use your favorite smoked sausage, turkey sausage. Girl, you can use bratwurst. I don't care what you use, but I personally like to use hickory smoked sausage or andouille sausage, and this brand is so good. It has so much flavor. And all I'm going to be doing is cutting these into like little medallions, like little circles. You know how to cut sausage into little circles. And I'm going to cut up the whole pack because gumbo collard greens, we're going to be feeding a lot of people. So I'm just going to cut the whole package. Like I said, it's about the width of my finger, but this step should be a little bit easy. You could cut it however you want to. And this is going to be the base for our roux. I like to cook the sausage and use the oil from the sausage to mix with the oil and flour that we're going to be using for our gumbo roux. And that's pretty much how I cook my gumbo all the time. I also wanted to mention that the sausage is also optional. in this recipe, because I know a lot of people don't really care for anything that pertains to pork or sausage, period. So feel free to skip this if you want to just jump into making the roux. But if you're not going to skip it, what we're going to do is add a little bit of oil or beef tallow to a skillet, and we're just going to brown our sausage. As you can see right here, it's just going to cook for about 3 to 4 minutes until it gets a nice golden brown little char on it. Sometimes I like to leave it and let it cook by itself, or you could just continuously stir it to get it brown all over. But me personally, I like to, if I love things, I leave them alone. So yeah, now as you can see, I'm just mixing all of that together, like I said, trying to get it brown on all sides. Then I removed that. I added some oil and some flour to the pan off camera. So I did half a cup of oil and I did half a cup of flour. Sorry that y'all missed it, but this was like literally the clip after I did that. Now I'm just trying to break up all those flour lumps, and I have my heat on medium because I'm a pro at making a roux. I can make a dark chocolate roux with my eyes closed. And as you can see, I'm just breaking it all up. I'm continuously stirring on medium heat. And our goal is to get a dark chocolate color roux. Or you could do a milk chocolate color roux, it's totally up to you. But me personally, I like it nice and dark because I feel like it gives it better flavor. And if you are just a beginner, turn the roux down to low and just leave it alone. Like, not leave it alone, but like turn it down to low and continuously stir it. Is it gonna take you a longer amount of time? Yes, but unless you've made a couple roux before, I wouldn't have the heat too high. So whenever you're making a gumbo roux, just go ahead, continuously stir, maintain the heat, and pop on one of your favorite shows and just watch an episode or two, because it's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour if you're cooking it low and slow. But me personally, my roux take about 15 minutes because I have that heat up high and I just knock it out. But like you can see, it's clumping a little bit, so feel free to either use a whisk or a wooden spoon, spatula, whatever you have an easier time stirring with. So now you can see that our roux is milk chocolate. I added in some of our holy trinity, which is celery, onion, bell peppers, green bell peppers, and I added that to the roux, and I'm just stirring all of that around. So yeah, this is starting to make the foundation of our gumbo. I'm sorry that a lot of this I didn't include in the video, but now that our roux is done and I cooked the vegetables in the roux for about 2 minutes, we're gonna add that to a pot where we cooked some smoked turkey meat. So I cooked some smoked turkey meat for about an hour until it was fork tender, and some chicken broth, and then I added my dark chocolate roux with the bell peppers, onions, and celery to it. I mixed that together, and then I'm gonna add in our collard greens, as you can see. And now we're about to start cooking our collard greens, which is gonna take not that long. I like to simmer them for about 1 to 2 hours until they're fully cooked, just to absorb all that flavor. But before we start simmering, we're gonna bring that heat back up to about medium low, and then we're going to add in some seasonings. I like to use my garlic galore seasoning, and I also like to use my hoodoo Creole seasoning, but of course feel free to use garlic powder, onion powder, Creole seasoning, some paprika, brown sugar, whatever you season your collard greens with. We're just gonna give it a really good stir before tasting it for seasoning, because we want to make sure that whatever our broth tastes like right now is what the collard greens are going to taste like at the end. So definitely taste it for seasoning. Make sure that it's up to you and your family's preference. Now we're going to add in our sausage. Remember, sausage has sodium content in it, so definitely taste it once again for seasoning. That's why I like to season in increments before being satisfied with my finished product. But definitely keep in mind that once you add in the sausage and the smoked turkey meat to the pot, it's going to add salt to it. So yes, we're going to stir in all of our meat. And yes, there was shrimp in this recipe, but the shrimp is going to be added once the collard greens are done cooking, because the residual heat from the pot is going to cook the collard greens. So like I said, I cooked these low and slow for about an hour and a half or 2 hours, or until the greens were fully cooked. So you just want to taste the collard green and see if it's the texture that you like. I don't like them to be too wilted. I like it to have a little bite to it, but also be tender at the same time. And it smells so good in here. It smells like Thanksgiving. It's so good. So you can stop right here, or you could be like me and add in some seafood. You can add in some shrimp. I'm adding in some frozen jumbo shrimp, not too much because I really don't care for shrimp like that. And I'm going to, like I said, put this back into the collard greens and allow the residual heat to do its thing. So now our collard greens are about done. We're gonna give it a good stir so you guys can get into that. Y'all, it's so good. You have to trust me on this. I really hope you guys consider trying this for Thanksgiving. It's so flavorful. It's super easy to make. And I'm telling you, I think your family is going to be impressed with this experiment in particular. And if not, girl, they some haters. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. And I wanted to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you in the next video.